Hey Gearheads, and welcome to Garage Talk, a discussion about all things automotive. I'm Cory.
And I'm Matt. And each week this podcast will serve as a catalyst for discussion on all sorts of topics that grind our gears, rev our engines, or just need a bit more conversation.
And this week we're talking about 52 episodes done in the books. Season 2, here we are.
That's right.
That?
Episode 1, Season 2.
Yes, it's been a year. It's been a very interesting ride. We covered all that last week. And so today we are talking about the future, not only of this podcast, but of the automotive industry. Because I don't know if you've been following us on gtgaragetalk.com and all the news and blog posts I've been churning out over the past month or so. The future is electric, and everybody is going all in on electric, and it's getting kind of crazy. But we've got some fun internal combustion engine news to talk about. So there's a lot going on in the automotive industry. And what better way to kick off season 2 of this podcast than to talk about everything that's gone on since you and I were last on air with one another, since last we recorded with one another, because we actually recorded quite a few episodes to end the season. And we took a little break, focused on our family, enjoyed some time off, but now we're back. And here we go.
Now we're back.
Yeah, so many things to talk about. First and foremost, since this is season 2, year 2, we're doing some things again. Second annual this and second annual that. And
that's right.
The first thing that we want to cover on second annual anything with our Garage Talk faithful is our second annual GT Dream Car Bracket Challenge.
Oh, yeah.
And this just kind of happened last year because of March Madness being canceled and just the craziness that was March of 2020. I think we're all tired of hearing about that dreaded word and virus and everything that goes with it. But one of the good things that came from it was this Dream Car Bracket Challenge that you and I came up with. And it was a blast last year. And this year we're building upon that success and that conversation that we started last year. And we're giving y'all a little more lead time to let us know what your dream cars are.
Yeah.
Because we had a very interesting grouping last time, and I think we only had 32. And this year we're going big. We're going for 64.
Woohoo.
Full bracket. So we'll have 2 competitions a day starting us off, and we'll kind of dwindle down as we get into the finals from there. But Garage Talk faithful, Gearheads, we need your input. For the past few days, weeks, I've been putting on our Facebook and Instagram stories a question that you can answer that directly feeds back to us and lets us know what your dream cars are. And fill that sucker up. As many as you want. Be specific. And we will take the cream of the crop, and Matt and I will bust our heads together and come up with a good bracket for all these cars to go head to head, and we'll let the chips fall where they may with your voting thereafter. But until March gets here, we need your help. And so we just say, go like us and follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to keep it to those 2 platforms this year. And let us know your dream cars. Fill that question out. And if you don't see or are not just comfortable answering on Facebook and Instagram stories because you're just old school, you can go and find the last episode of season 1 that has that empty bracket on it, and just comment on there and let us know your dream car in the comments there. Or shoot us an email, gtgaragetalk@gmail.com. All that to say, we want to know what your dream cars are.
Yeah.
And this bracket will not fill itself out unless you just want to have a bunch of Matt and I, our dream cars on there. So,
I mean, we could build our own bracket, and
that'd be a lot of Chevys and Fords on there. So.
I could come up with 64 cars. I guarantee that.
Yeah. So, like I said, just go out there, find us on Facebook and Instagram, and fill those brackets out. Let us know. And then, like Matt alluded to on last week's episode, we will actually put a downloadable bracket on our website for you to fill out and send back to us through email. And we will give a little prize away to anyone who has a perfect bracket at the end.
Yeah.
Which, given how last year's voting went, I'm saying there were some bracket busters on there. Just completely blew me away that the Viper beat out a McLaren, and there
not me.
There were some.
It didn't blow me away at all.
It blew my brother away. The biggest Viper nut I know personally, and so there were some bracket busters out there for sure. So we're very interested to see. I am stoked because that was a highlight of my March last year. It kept me going during all the craziness because every morning I got to wake up and post that day's challenge online, and then I got to see the votes start trickling in, and it was a blast. So thank you all for your support last year. Help us fill out the bracket this year. So very excited about that. Next thing up, we have finally followed through on the promise of coming up with a name of our Patreon after show segment. And I can't believe it took us as long as it did. Big kudos to my marketing genius wife for helping me brainstorm this one out. But if you want to support us and what we're doing and grow this channel through years 2, 3, 4, and beyond, go over to patreon.com/GTGarageTalk and sign up for a tier of monthly giving. There are several out there, but at the $5 a month tier, you get access to our after show called The Aftermarket. We finally came up with
Aftermarket.
Now we're going to need to come up with like a jingle or some sort of intro just for The Aftermarket, but we're very excited.
Oh, yeah.
When it's just Matt and I, it'll be 5-10 minutes of us just going a little bit deeper into a subject that we covered that week. If it's an interview week where we're interviewing someone, we've got a few extra questions for them. May pick their brain just a little bit more, but just going a little bit deeper into the subject of the week. And we just want to share that with you. And that is called The Aftermarket. And we're so excited to finally have a name for that sucker.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get so much better this year at timely uploads on the Aftermarket, so they go up the same week. It's really easy to do the Facebook posts and the Instagram posts and the Twitter posts and the Patreon posts and this and that, but getting that that chunk of audio uploaded and making sure it's there on time, that is my goal for season 2. So
nice.
And then, while we're talking about supporting us and supporting the channel, we are just incredibly grateful for the people that we've met along the way that are helping us out. And we've got a few partnerships that we want to announce today, this week, on this episode. And first and foremost, we have partnered with a local publication, eGuide Magazine. You can check them out at eguidemagazine.com. And we have all of our content on their site now. So not only can you find us at gtgaragetalk.com, but you can find us on eguidemagazine.com. And while you're planning your trip to lovely, beautiful Tyler, Texas, you can read about all the latest car news and listen to our podcast. So huge shout out and thanks to eGuide Magazine for just helping get our name out and our voices out into the world. Thank you for that. Next up, we are Amazon Associates is the actual title.
This is a fun one because I get to brag on some tools and share all of my wild and crazy dreams through what I have yet to buy on Amazon.
Yes. So we need to hide this page of our website from Emily and Holly before we...
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So if you go to gtgaragetalk.com/gear, you will find a comprehensive list of all of our favorite things. From podcasting gear, all the stuff that we use to record this podcast each and every week. Video gear, I'm a techie, so when it comes to video gear and podcasting gear, I've got all the stuff that we use and we love to bring you content each and every week. we've got that up there, but we are also leveraging Matt's years of wrenching and tools that he's used and things that he's learned along the years. So there are great car care items on there and tools on there and different things like that. So,
and the list is ever growing. We'll be adding to it as we move forward, and it helps us when you click on that link, right, Cory?
Yes. So full disclaimer here, as associates of Amazon, we get a small portion of each purchase that you make through the click on our website. So in order to, give back to us as you're shopping on Amazon and buying the stuff that we use and love, just go to gtgaragetalk.com/gear, and that would just help us out tremendously. Thank you so much for even going and checking that out. But like Matt says, this list will grow and grow as time goes on. I have yet to actually upload Matt's car accessories that he's putting on the Subaru, but we'll have a special section for all the gadgets and things that he adds to the Subaru on that list. And you can, build right along with Matt. As we've got the segment on our Facebook and our YouTube page, In the Garage with Matt. And so that's how you can build right along with him, all the exact same stuff that he's putting on his car.
And as we move along through that too, I'll be doing some reviews of sorts on some of the things that I end up buying off of Amazon, the things I like about them, things I don't like about them, similar to what I did with the light bar install on the Subaru here recently, which, by the way, if you haven't checked that out, you can find it on Facebook and on YouTube. The install of the light bar on the Subaru that I get looks and stares and questions about almost every day. It's hilarious.
I just love all your family making comments online. Like, why though? That's just awesome.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's just awesome listening to your family, the chatter back and forth on that one. So another thing, if you scroll down to the bottom of that page, so we know that there are some pet lovers out there, and we have partnered with our friends at Piney Woods Pets. Not only do they make some awesome treats and products for your pets there, but we ask them for some good car-related, pet-related items to share with you, our Gearhead listening audience. And so we've got that on the bottom of the page as well. I will say I'm still learning this whole web design thing. On the desktop version, there's actually a little I don't even know an anchor menu on the side where you can click to each section. So there's car gear, car care, podcasting gear, video gear, all that stuff. They're in different sections and you can go right to them, but I can't quite figure out how to do that on mobile. So if you want to get the best experience, go on your computer. I know it's old school. Type it in gtgaragetalk.com/gear. And you'll be able to sort through all those sections really quickly and easily. But huge thank you to our friends over at Piney Woods Pets who do make awesome pet treats and pet products. And you can find a link to shop their stuff on our page as well. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, all that aside,
right?
Since you and I last recorded, so much car news. And
definitely.
I know we're not going to cover it all today because we had to, be at least somewhat concise with this episode. We can ramble until midnight if we wanted to.
Right.
But I've kind of hit the highlights, the high notes, high points. There's some low points on here too. I've got a little bit of everything big that happened since we recorded last on here. And
I don't know if the 2022 Chevy Bolt is really a high point, but it's a point all the same.
That's what I said. There's some lowish. There's some points on this list. So diving right into it. So at the end of January, GM made this monumental announcement that by 2035, all their light duty people moving vehicles that aren't commercial vehicles are going to be completely zero emission vehicles. And that's huge because they are one of the largest manufacturers in the world. I believe they're number 4 overall now. And to say by 2035, the internal combustion engine is going to be no mas is monumental. And it has me wondering, it has me questioning, because just a few days later, Cadillac, their premium division, went and announced something completely contradictory to that fact. And that is the CT4V Blackwing and CT5V Blackwing performance sedans that are just insanely crazy. And I cannot wait to test them out, get behind the wheel of one, and, have a little fun. And
they are really, really pretty too.
Yes. So love them or hate them, the CT4 and CT5 are the newest iterations of the Cadillac sedans, which sedans are on their last leg around the world. Maybe. And these are the all-out performance variants. So there's been a lot of confusion on the internet, especially among gearheads like you and I, that they've really gone crazy with their marketing on it, because the V used to be the pinnacle, the cream of the crop. And then when they released the CT4 and CT5V versions, they were just like slightly better than the everyday version, and nothing really special. And then they went through this Blackwing out there, and that is what the old CTS V and ATS V were. It's the crazy all-out version. And now I'm just, alphabet soup out here and saying lots of things. All that to say, this is like the last hurrah of the performance sedan from Cadillac. And it's happy and sad all at the same time, because what we're getting is the most powerful production Cadillac that we've ever seen. And truly capable vehicles. I've not seen a bad review of the handling dynamics of either of the V versions, the non-super powerful, and, just adding more power and better brakes and all that only makes it better. So it's a contradictory message that GM is giving us right now. It's with very mixed emotions that we embrace these two cars as we are getting ready to say goodbye to them. Because what you and I covered a few weeks ago on a previous episode all about GM is at CES this year, Consumer Electronics Show, the future Cadillacs we saw were boring boxes and a single-person drone that
were all automated and you couldn't drive anymore.
Yeah, that may happen, may not happen, who knows. All of that, you can see pictures of all of that on gtgaragetalk.com. The article is called Going Out with a Bang, and down at the bottom I've got, it really is, it's a box on wheels with a pretty nice interior, but it's a box on wheels, and it is in no way the successor to these two high-powered performance driving machines that Cadillac debuted this February.
I would never discourage anyone from going to our website. However, there's not much to look at. I'll just put that out there.
Those two vehicles. Now, the CT4V Blackwing and CT5 Blackwing are. So here are some of the specs, just high level. The CT5V Blackwing, which is the biggest one, the most powerful one, has a 6.2 liter supercharged V8, putting out 668 horsepower and 659 pound-feet of torque. Has a GM estimated top track speed of over 200 miles an hour, and it can go 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds with the automatic transmission. And that is where I just love these cars, because General Motors, while they're about to get rid of all things internal combustion, right now, while we've got it, they are giving us manual transmissions and fire-breathing V8 engines. And I'm just stoked to get behind the wheel of a manually equipped 6.2 liter, crazy, tons of power CT5 V Blackwing sedan and just put it through its paces. That's just going to be awesome. While it is faster 0 to 60 with the automatic, it's definitely more fun with the manual. And that's a compromise I don't know about you, but I'm willing to make. Let me roll my own gears. Let me do it myself. It's definitely more. The best cars come with 3 pedals. Let's just face it.
Hashtag save the manual.
Yes. The little sibling version, the CT4V Blackwing, still an amazingly capable vehicle in its own right. 3.6 liter twin turbo V6, putting out 472 horsepower and 445 pound-feet of torque. Estimated top speed of 189 miles an hour. So, the CT5V Blackwing has over 200. Whether that's 201, 202, 217, we don't know.
Right.
CT4V 189. 0 to 60, again, automatic transmission, 3.8 seconds. So a tenth of a second slower. Not bad at all. And
darn.
Yeah. And you can get a manual transmission in this one as well. So these are the last 2 manual transmission equipped sedans in the segment. And thank you, Cadillac, for listening to us and at least going out with a bang.
Right.
Because this is everything we want, is it not? Like, this checks all the boxes. Rear-wheel drive, internal combustion power, crazy noise and sound, manual transmission, good looks. Who could ask for anything more? I
could.
I'm going into show tunes with this whole, these are a few of my favorite things. Who could ask for anything more?
Yeah. I could ask for one more thing.
What would that be?
A price tag that was not astronomical.
Well, they are Cadillacs. So I'll just throw that out there. And all cars are getting stupid expensive now. So
I know we've had that discussion multiple times, but I'm going to bring it up every time because hopefully somebody somewhere is listening and says, you know what? We need to make a V8 powered front engine, rear drive, manual transmission vehicle for $20,000.
Those days are long gone. I would love to see it, but unfortunately, I believe those days are long gone because the future is electric, Matt. And
no, it's not.
So, like we said,
it can't be.
General Motors said by 2035, all vehicles will have 0 tailpipe emissions. And just this week on Valentine's Day, they unveiled the new 2022 Bolt. That's their all-electric, little funky-looking thing, hatchback of a car. It looks better. It's still frumpy. I'll just call it like I see it. It's a little frumpy. It has more futuristic electric car styling. It looks better. And then they introduced a bigger version, calling it the EUV, electric utility vehicle. A little bit more room inside. Both these have the exact same powertrain as the outgoing version. So still over 250 miles of range on a charge. Still a very acceptable 6.5 seconds 0 to 60. Capable vehicles, and let's face it, it is just an appliance. It is meant to be their volume electric seller and ease us into this electric future. So
at what price tag?
So they actually start at a reasonable price. You're going to get me scrolling on the website here now. So starting at $36,500 before incentives.
$36,500.
Actually, that's last year. So the price actually went down for the 2022. I had it pulled up, but I'm on the EUV's page right now. Hold on.
Let's see.
Here we go.
Car and Driver says it's $5,500 less than last year.
Yes.
$31,995.
Yeah. So before incentives. I don't know if it's still eligible for government incentives, but yeah.
I think as long as it's below, like, I don't know, 7,200 pounds or something like that.
No, it's how many units they've sold. And once they've sold so many units, then that tax credit goes away.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So, anyway, some interesting tech on this. So, it got an updated exterior. got an updated interior, which was much needed. It had an interesting eco-friendly interior, but definitely a more stylized, better, more integrated, more well-built interior. But the most interesting feature brought to the Bolt EUV exclusively is Cadillac's Super Cruise. This is the first non-Cadillac vehicle to receive the Super Cruise feature from General Motors, and that is basically hands-free driving. General Motors has mapped out most of the major roadways throughout the United States, and this system will use LiDAR information that GM has compiled, plus sensors in the vehicle, and it is one of the most, if not currently the best hands-free driving that you can get. Right now, Cadillac Escalade's the only thing you could get today that has this. So the fact that it's coming to a Chevy Bolt EUV, it's pretty impressive for under $40,000 or right at $40,000, considering the Escalade's north of 80. So half the price.
Yeah.
There you go. There's your Super Cruise. So interesting technology. Again, GM's pushing this all electric future, and this is their first step into those waters. Very interesting way to go. They definitely went the right approach as opposed to Tesla. Tesla started off with a full-size, expensive luxury sedan, which I know, they made more money on each one, profit in the bank, but everybody wants crossovers now, and the mass market can't afford the fanciest, biggest, most crazy version. So while Tesla made the Model Y their fourth vehicle to roll out, Chevy jumped headfirst into the all-electric waters with their mass market vehicle first. So from a business perspective, I think that will pay dividends much quicker for them as they go that direction. But I'm tired of talking electric cars for now.
Thank you.
Like there's so much we have to learn. And until there's just more adoption behind them, which I've outlined, I'm telling you, Matt, I've put out so many blog posts about electric driving and charging and all of that on our website. I'm exhausted about electric. So let's talk some good old-fashioned internal combustion, old school vehicles here, and we'll dive.
But wait, it's not old-fashioned anymore. They finally updated them after 13 years.
Oh, yes. So Nissan has been struggling as of late, and a lot of their product portfolio is aging, and the newer stuff that has seen facelifts is questionable in the design and the reliability of it all. So they're in the midst of a renaissance themselves, and we're very excited. I got to drive the 2021 all-new Rogue SUV, compact SUV, and loved it. If that is the direction they are going, kudos to Nissan. The design of it was spot on. It was muscular and athletic, and it wasn't too vanilla for basically a vanilla segment of vehicles, compact crossovers, and I truly liked it. It had some awesome tech in it, and I loved it. Then they came out with the Armada. Very similar styling, but based off the old platform. So we see what they're doing. They're giving us all new styling and tech and all that stuff, but kind of with old bones underneath. And they're doing a little bit more of that with some of their more volume sellers than the Armada, with the Pathfinder family crossover and the Frontier. The Frontier, it finally got an update. And so needed on their behalf. So I've joked about it. I joked about it in the blog post. I've joked about it with you. When I was a senior in high school was the last time that Nissan truly updated the Frontier compact or midsize truck. And here we are for the 2022 model year. We are finally getting an all-new one. And my life has changed dramatically since then. I don't even know that I can elaborate in all the ways that it has changed.
Right.
And it is nice to see a truly new, in most sense, Frontier truck. And I don't know about you, but I absolutely love the styling on this thing.
Yes, I will agree with you. The styling of the exterior is very, not bulky, but muscular and masculine to a point.
It's boxy
The
in all the
interior,
right ways.
right?
Go ahead.
And yeah, the interior is refined to a T. I mean, it's similar to the exterior. It is curvy in the right ways. It's got those hard lines built into it in the right places. The only thing I'm worried about with the Frontier is how much of the old tech is going to bleed into the new truck, because just within the past 5 years, we've had the Tacoma redesigned, we've had the Ranger revived, we've had the Colorado Canyon come back and be revised. And so the current segment of the midsize truck is an incredibly competitive one. Oh, and by the way, Jeep jumped in on the midsize truck bandwagon. So it's going to have probably some fancy tech for some off-roading. Probably going to need some bash plates of some sort. Yes. A great off-road cruise control of some sort.
Yes.
So
check.
And some little trinkets and gizmos and gadgets and things to help in the whole process of the revitalization.
So again, we've got this on our website, gtgarageshock.com. 16 years in the making, this all-new Frontier. So they took a lot of the design cues from the Big Brother Titan truck and translated it to this rig. Like you said, it's boxy in all the right ways. So what we're discovering from the just love and people gushing over the new Bronco is people love boxy designs. Boxy is in right now. And so this new Frontier definitely does that right. It is rugged and boxy in all the right places. And the only version they're currently showing us is the Off-Road Pro 4X version. So it will be interesting to see what the lesser, more volume models look like. But this one looks amazing. It's got the red tow hook, so you know it can go off-road, right? And I absolutely love it. It, like you said, it's got some new tech in it, LED headlights, LED taillights, all the stuff you would expect. I am a little disappointed. So kind of taking a design element from the full-size Chevy trucks with the air curtains that go around, help with the aerodynamics around the front end.
Right.
The Frontier has got a fake air curtain vent looking thing running vertically on the front corners. And I'm like, what? No, I'm going to knock y'all for that. Otherwise, I love the exterior designing of this truck. The interior, I actually had an interesting conversation with a friend of mine who said it was kind of boring. And I said, yeah, but it's on par with the rest of the segment outside of the segment leader in the Tacoma. I'd say the Tacoma has the best looking interior of the bunch, but the Colorado's interior is boring. The Ranger's interior is boring. The Jeep's interior,
Easy.
The Jeep's interior looks just like the Wrangler. This segment does not just have overwhelmingly appealing interiors. They're just okay. But to your point earlier about the price of vehicles, I think this segment is getting as intensely competitive as it is because full-size trucks are so ridiculously expensive now that in order for someone like you or me to just go out and plunk money down on a new truck, we're shopping the midsize segment, which, let's face it, 10, 20 years ago, these are the size of the full-size from 10, 20 years ago. So,
right.
Which Nissan is touting this is the right size. It rides on the same platform that the 16-year-old version did. So the bones are essentially the same. It grew 5 inches over the previous model from nose to tail. And the interesting part to me is they said it's all front ahead of the front axle. So they made the nose longer on it, which you and I both know for off-roading is not a good thing. And
No.
I know from my experience off-roading the Titan that it already had too long of an overhang on the full-size truck. So the fact that they're making the schnoz longer on the mid-size truck has me a little worried.
Yeah.
But I haven't been guaranteed, but I have been told we should see these at this year's Texas Truck Rodeo. So you and I will get to do some off-roading in one of these in a course designed to test and challenge them. And I can't wait. So I'm very excited about that. And while we're talking about all things Nissan, they did update their family SUV, bigger version of the Rogue in the Pathfinder. So it's not as big as the Armada. It's not as small as the Rogue. It's right in between. It's 3-row crossover. Again, built on the same platform as the outgoing version, but they've actually made it more roomy inside and given it the new Nissan corporate look, which, again, I say is just a slam dunk for them. It looks so much better than the outgoing version, and they ditched the CVT continuously variable transmission in it and gave it the 9-speed that they also put in that Frontier. So one of the biggest complaints of the outgoing model was that transmission. Very much looking forward to seeing how well this does in this rig. So very excited for that. And like I said, you can check all these stories out, pictures and everything on our website, gtgaragetruck.com. I know I keep throwing that out there, but it's a good place to go for car news.
It is, definitely.
So, Matt, I'm going to let you intro this last vehicle, this last little bit of car news, because...
Were you trying to kick me while I'm down?
Well, you can do it better than I can. So just why don't you intro this last vehicle that we're set to talk about?
Okay, Ford copped out.
Good. So you agree with me.
I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
I understand, but I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
So with the introduction of the TRX, and I think I've got this pretty well figured out on why they did what they did, but with the introduction of the TRX, Ford knew they had to redesign in a hurry. And with the 2021 F-150s hitting the ground now, I've seen several around town already, so they're a month or two old or so. They knew they had to bring in the F-150 Raptor with the same general body style of the 2021, which is a brand new body style for this year.
Yep.
In the past, the previous two generations, it's been a year after the new redesign before they've brought out the Raptor redesign as well. And because of when the TRX came out, I believe that's why they went ahead and pushed to bring out the 2021 Raptor. And they left the same 3.5 hyped up EcoBoost V6 in it. Now, the trailer that I saw for it does have a lot throatier sound to it, which has been the biggest complaint for the Raptor since the V6 option entered the realm of things.
Well, since it became the only engine that you could get in it.
Right, yeah. And it sounds pitiful. Whether you open the exhaust up or change it or leave it stock, it just sounds awful. Yeah. And the augmented sound through the sound system
which is
the biggest joke of the automotive world to date. I hate it. I despise it with all that I am.
Yep.
So if it doesn't sound good, change it so it sounds good.
Yep.
Don't augment it with fake sound through the stereo, because the guy sitting at the light next to you with his window down can still hear how awful it sounds.
Yep. And there's only so much an aftermarket exhaust can do for it.
Well, yeah, I mean, a V6 doesn't sound well anyway.
Yeah.
A straight 6 sounds better than a V6 any day of the week. So they're starting behind on the curve anyway. But I'll back off of my soapbox a little bit and say there is a V8 coming.
Yes. So, backing away a little bit, painting the picture, Ford announced hot on the heels of the TRX hitting dealerships and people getting their hands on their own that they paid their own money for. Ford, like you said, realized, okay, we need to speed up when the Raptor comes out because we actually have competition now. Competition is great, and it breeds innovation. And what Ford did to combat this is instead of, taking their time, and which we don't know what went on behind the door, but we know historically there's a year gap between the new year model truck and the Raptor version. And this year, Ford rushed to have something new to compete against the TRX from Ram. And what they gave us doesn't compete directly with the TRX from Ram.
Right.
It just doesn't. It does
Right.
not have 700 plus horsepower. It's a completely capable truck and can definitely hold its own off-road, but it's not a TRX, and it doesn't have a V8, and it doesn't have that crazy power. But like you said, Ford teased that the Raptor R is coming. So what we essentially are getting from this, the announcement that we should really take solace in, is we are getting two versions of the Raptor, and we're yet to see what the Raptor R looks like. If it's any different than the Raptor, or if it's just it has a better engine, we don't know what all Ford plans to do to RFI the Raptor, but it's exciting to say the least. We have options.
Sure.
Options are good, and here now I'm defending Ford. What's going on?
I've flipped you.
This world, it's a crazy thing. So that being said, it does ride on the new 2021 F-150 platform, which is very capable. I joked when I wrote the article on the regular 2021 F-150 that it's really more of an evolution than a revolution. Gearheads like you and I are going to be able to spot the difference between the 2020 and the 2021 versions.
Right.
I don't think the general public really is. They look very similar. And when it comes to the Raptor, I think the old version, actually, the second gen, looks better than this one. I think the design elements worked better on the last generation than they do on this one. And that's completely personal preference, but that's where I stand.
And I definitely think it has some to do with, still using the same cab that the 2020 came on, and being stuck with this massive grill of the 2021s.
I would say the grill is probably the area where I'd say the 2020 and previous gen looked the best because it had a smaller, more purpose-designed grill. This one just looks like that's all the front is grill and headlights.
Right, and the bumper looks like the original Raptor bumper. Like there's not enough different about it. It needs some help, but it's still
the aftermarket
a really
can
good
help out
truck.
with that one. So I'm very interested to see these hit the roads and see what people do to them after they buy them. Because let's face it, all these trucks are a building block for something even better. Because why leave this one stock? I know you've spent all your money on the truck at that point, but it is a good building block for the next thing that you can come up with and do. So very interesting to see how this off-road segment of trucks is evolving. And, I've joked about it with you, with Bill Taylor, the vehicle nanny. Where is General Motors in all of this? They're over there playing with electricity. So they have teased that an all-electric full-size truck is coming. I guess it would have to, seeing as they're going to be all-electric by 2035. But, man, General Motors is missing the boat currently. They may...
Yep.
Who knows? We're seeing automakers like Land Rover and Jaguar and big name automakers say they're going to go all electric by 2025 or 2030 or 2035. So tons of automakers are jumping on this all electric by a certain date bandwagon. Hyundai, Kia has said we're going more electric. Toyota is saying we're going more like it is how the market is shifting. But the fact that General Motors was the front runner on this leads me to believe if they get it right, they are going to be head and shoulders above everyone else when the market truly hits that tipping point of saying, okay, full EV adoption, here we go. And when the infrastructure for charging catches up with it too. That's the other problem they're up against, I think, right now, is that the massive amount of gas stations that we have that you can be in and out in 10 minutes versus 30 minutes for another 200 miles worth of charge. Like we're not there yet. I understand, 15 years is a long time, but there's a lot of ground to cover. Yeah. To that point, I wrote a blog post about that specifically because that is the major problem keeping a lot of people from adopting EVs. And when you have 168,000 gas stations in the U.S., thereabouts, according to fueleconomy.gov, and only somewhere around 1,000 DC fast chargers across the nation, that is a big issue for the EV community. I know there are certain places that my wife and I like to go on day trips that I've checked both Tesla, and they're the leaders in the charging infrastructure. Tesla does not have a charger between here and there, and we could not take a Tesla on said day trip without having to trickle charge it in a wall plug, basically.
Right.
So when we got there, we're there and we're not going anywhere else. The other thing is General Motors, being the leader, saying 2035 is the date. They are partnering with the electric charge company EVgo, and they plan on having 2,700 new fast chargers over the next 5 years. That's still nowhere near the 168,000 gas stations. And
right.
What's really crazy about, gas stations are in rural areas, they're in urban areas, they're everywhere because we've been reliant on gas power for so long. Where you're seeing these DC fast chargers for electric vehicles pop up are along interstates where the demand is the highest. But like I said, going on those rural, that's a hard word to say, day trips, you're not following, the typical path. And what are you supposed to do? So,
right.
It is
really you and I are dealing. Yeah, definitely. You and I are dealing with Snowpocalypse 2021.
Yeah.
Round 2 of Snowpocalypse 2021.
Which, by the end of this week, by the time this episode goes live, we'll be back up in the 60s, which is crazy to me.
Oh, yeah. But there are rolling blackouts in East Texas currently because of simply the demand of everybody being at home and it being 3 degrees outside.
Which is strange to me. So Weather Channel says it's currently 2. So get it right, man. It's currently 2 degrees outside.
Excuse me.
But yeah, let's see. Thursday, 28, Friday, 32, 42 on Saturday, 51 on Sunday, 56 on Monday. So yeah, it's going to get warmer for us. But yeah, that is a real problem. I got several emails about possible blackouts and conserve energy until Thursday and all this. And that really raises a question. If we're so dependent, granted, I'm not getting out and driving in this. I know you did. You had a little bit of fun in your all-wheel drive Subaru. But
yep.
If you had to get out and drive in this and you have no way to charge your vehicle because you've been without power for a day or 2 days, that's a problem. And it is a compounding problem. So again, I put an excellent blog post up on our website about this, where I actually linked in a YouTube channel that I really like, Engineering Explained, and he actually goes into detail, if you're an electric nerd, how electric grids work and if they could actually handle tomorrow everyone being on completely electric vehicles. So very informative blog post with some even more informative videos thrown in there for your viewing enjoyment. So
Awesome.
I'm doing my best to stay up on this. I'm trying to educate myself because I see the writing on the walls, and we might roll our eyes on it at it. We may think, I want my V8 for as long as I can. All the companies are doubling and tripling down on this bet. And when California, the largest market for new vehicles in the United States, puts down their own state mandate that says we're not selling internal combustion engines by this date, it kind of shifts how the market goes, and the market has to respond. So
I wonder if the, how do I say this? I wonder if the reason they're the leader in new car sales is because the emissions issues are so strict in California that people would rather go buy a new vehicle than they would try and fix the one that they have. I wonder if that's a direct correlation.
Well,
I'd be curious to figure that out.
Let's throw that to our listeners. I know we've got several listeners in California. Let us know what is driving your new vehicle purchase. Is the fact that California is the leader in new car purchases because of just the turnover of vehicles over there? Is it sheer population being one of our more populous states? What is it? What is driving your new vehicle purchase in the state of California? And let us know if you're excited about this all EV future. I know I've got a friend, Colton, who sells Fords out in California and sold a Mustang Mach-E this week. They've had 4 or 5 come through the showroom, and he actually FaceTimed me and chatted with me a little while he was sitting in one, showed me around one, and drove on the back side of the dealership lot. And they're interesting. I wouldn't call them a Mustang, but they're interesting. So very interesting to see what's going on over there in California. And just, let us know if you're there on the ground in California. Give us some insight because, we're all the way over here in Texas dealing with snow right now, and we're interested. We're in about 7 inches of snow right now, Matt. And on Thursday, we are scheduled to, is it Thursday or Wednesday? We're scheduled, it's Wednesday. 100% chance of more snow. So I've never seen this much snow in my entire life. Texas born and raised, and it's interesting to see outside my own windows this much white powder.
It's going to be below freezing until Friday.
Yep.
That's the other crazy part of it. None of this is going away before more of it comes.
Yep. And what's really crazy to me, like I said, Texas born and raised. So we had about a month ago, a little over a month ago, we had a snow about the same amount. I think we had 5 or 6 inches at that point, but it was a wetter snow. This snow is dry and it blows away really easily. Like I'm getting a snow education this winter, and it's been fun. My 2 soon to be 3-year-old son is loving it to a degree, and my Chihuahua is not having any of it. So that's how we are faring. You and I are in separate locations because, well, safety, and White House's finest told you to stay off the roads.
Yeah, they did. They did.
Not?
Yep.
So, all right. Well, that's all the car news we currently have for you. Like I said, you can find out more of what's going on in the automotive industry. I'm writing blog posts left and right, and so is Matt. When we get a chance, head on over to gtgaragetalk.com, click on our blog, and you'll see all the latest car news of things that we're interested in and into, and maybe a few personal stories along the way. But we're just always looking forward to sharing more with you. So we joked at the very beginning of this episode about season 2. We are here, new year, new season, very excited. You and I and our wives are yet to have our celebratory get-together dinner, but very much looking forward to that, when Snowpocalypse is over. This week was supposed to be the dinner, and I do believe we are going to have to reschedule. But we've got so many cool things penciled in for this year. Some a little darker pencil than others. I don't want to say any of it is in ink yet, just because the shifting nature of everything. But we are in conversations with several prominent people. Let me rephrase that. We are in conversation with several prominent people in the industry to come on our show and do an interview, and we're very excited about all of them. We've got some interesting stuff and viewpoints and stories to tell, and I think that is one of my favorite things that this podcast has brought on is the connections you and I have made throughout the industry and the stories we get to share with you, our listeners, the Gearhead faithful. So just keep listening, keep downloading, and there is so much more to come. If you have not subscribed on your favorite podcasting platform, please do. We recently got added to Pandora, so if you're a Pandora podcast listener and we haven't been there for you, we are now. So we are on all the big ones: Pandora, Stitcher, help me out. Spotify, Anchor, Apple, Google, all the big ones. We're out there. So yes. And you can find links to all of those on our website as well. So very excited about this year's worth of interviews. We've got a few new locations we will be doing interviews if all goes according to plan. Very excited about some on-location interviews that will have a video component to them as well. So there's going to be some travel in 2021 for us that I am very excited about. All of that. And some new events for us that we are hosting and we are being hosted at. I don't want to give too much away of things that we are traveling to, but electric vehicles will naturally be involved. Maserati, Aston Martin, Ford will possibly be involved with something in the very near future for us. So I'm beyond giddy about those things. What else? Second annual, here, I'm saying it. It's being recorded. Second annual Garage Talk Unlikely Heroes Car Show. We're working out the details. We want to bring you another car show unlike any other, where we focus on the vehicles that would never really be in a car show. And if you want to see the first annual Unlikely Heroes Car Show, that is on our website. We've got all those pictures posted for your viewing pleasure there. So very excited about all that. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll have a special guest, Mr. Bill Taylor of the Vehicle Nanny. He has mentioned that he's going to try and come down. Hopefully we can get him talked into coming down and spending some time with us over that event.
Yeah. So as soon as you and I have a date locked down, I'm going to, head on over and give him a shout out so he can put it on his calendar and be prepared to make the trip down here from Michigan. Very excited about that one. And then another thing very excited about this year, we're going to start doing car reviews, like legit car reviews. And I'm excited. Y'all can't see it right now, but I've got a smile ear to ear right now. We've done a few. I got to drive the C8 Corvette. That was amazing. Did a review. That's up on YouTube. Drove the Ram TRX. That's up on YouTube. I've driven others, but I'm still learning this whole car review thing. And so what better way to cut my teeth than on a Ram TRX and a C8 Corvette?
Boy, no kidding.
So more of that to come. Maybe not all of that caliber. I'm sorry. They can't all be winners. Nelly Cruz will make an appearance, I'm sure. The Subi will make an appearance. The Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. Now would actually be a really good time to do the Subi and the Jeep reviews. But like I said, you were politely asked to stay off the roads, and I'm sure I would be politely asked not to leave the house.
Well, in the officer's defense, it was my hooning that I was doing in a particular parking lot that caused him to stop and ask me to go home and sit down in a chair and think about something else that I could be doing with my time.
You hooligan. How old are you?
I
16?
know.
So
maybe. All
of that and more coming to you this year, 2021, Season 2. We cannot be more excited about the future of Garage Talk. It is thanks to you, our listeners. We can't say thank you enough for listening, subscribing, sharing with your friends. Do it all. And in fact, Matt, I believe you're going to hit the button right now and start that new intro outro that we've got for season 2. What about that, guys?
Yes. Sounds a little different, doesn't it? It's the original work of Casey Boyd, a great friend of mine who was gracious enough to set us up with an awesome new intro. So we'll throw it in here where you can listen to the whole thing and enjoy the awesome new music for season 2 of the Garage Talk podcast.
And as always, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GT Garage Talk. Head on over to gtgaragetalk.com for more on latest car news and from us. And until next time, bye.